For me, growing up in Roanoke seemed like the lamest childhood ever. Sure, we had a downtown and the second largest man-made star in America, but life seemed so boring. It didn't help that it seemed like everyone around me had the same cookie-cutter childhood. Most of my friends were upper middle class families and even quite wealthy. Their parents were doctors, lawyers, business owners, and most moms stayed at home. We lived in multi-story houses and cul-de-sacs in the suburbs of a small southern town. We saw each other at the grocery store, sporting events, and even church on Sunday. However, it didn't dawn on me that my family was a little different from the rest of the families around us. Whereas my friends were wearing Abercrombie and Hollister, I was still wearing JCPenney and department store clothing. I didn't get an iPod until 8th grade, and I didn't have hardly anything name brand. Since I hung out with girls who were more popular and whose parents had high-paying jobs, I started to realize that I wasn't like everyone else, and for a long time, I was bitter and filled with envy. My dad is a computer programmer for a large company in California, and my mom has had multiple jobs in the marketing and administration field, including owning her own business for about 5 years. It wasn't until the 7th grade that I noticed our family's money situation and the way we spent money was quite different than those around me. My mom was forced to close her business after the economy crashed and was once again on the look for a job. She settled down with a job at our church's daycare as an administrative assistant, working part-time. The job was great, it was part-time, and she loved being with the people at our church. So then she transferred positions to being our pastor's administrative assistant. Although it was part-time, and she was still only being paid $3 more than minimum wage, my mom was working over 40 hours a week, not being paid overtime. My parents have always demonstrated working hard and passionately in everything you do, especially my mom. I got my own job my junior year working at the local skate center about once or twice a week. My parents stressed making my own money to get the things I wanted and to pay for my own gas because they didn't always have the money to buy me all the things I wanted. My senior year of high school, my family began to feel the weight of the rising prices and the declined economy. My dad still had the same job, and my mom was working a ton, but not making that much money. We were slipping and becoming uncomfortable in our financial situation. College was hanging over our heads, and the debt we would soon face, couped with the ones of my sister's college, was not even in question. We were beginning to count down the days until payday, and only being able to go to the grocery store every other week. Talk of selling the house and my parents getting 2 jobs was a constant topic. It was scary and awkward. I felt alone living in a town where I felt like no one else was struggling. We couldn't go out to eat, we couldn't go on vacation, and I was having to pay for everything on my own, sometimes even groceries. I even got a second job and worked almost 40 hours some weeks during the summer to save money for college. By the will of God, my grandfather decided to pay for all of my college. A huge weight was lifted, and my parents could finally take a breath. Although I was beyond blessed growing up, and it seemed almost petty to complain about my struggle, it allowed me to see the importance of working hard for the things you want, and that not everyone can have things handed to them, like most of my friends had. My middle-class upbringing allowed me to see both how blessed I am and that work is an important life skill. Even though my story isn't really deep or heart-wrenching, it's my story, and it truly changed the way I see the world as a young adult and an upcoming woman in the workforce.